welcome to EdTechX Stories. My name is Benjamin Vedrenne-Cloquet. I'm CEO and co-founder of EdTechX Holdings and partner at Ibis Capital. EdTechX Stories is a short weekly interaction with CEOs, founders, investors, and innovators shaping and making the future of education and work. So welcome to EdTechX Stories, and I hope you enjoy our next session. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Mayank Kumar. I'm one of the co-founders and managing director of UpGrad. I'm completely born and brought up in India. Education is my passion, and education is something that perhaps the only sector that I know anything about. So there was when people ask me why I started UpGrad. Unfortunately, my answer is I did not know anything else what to do, and that's where I landed up in the education sector. And I look forward to having a very healthy and interesting conversation with Benjamin today.
Mayank, welcome. Welcome to EdTech Stories. You are the co-founder and MD of UpGrad. For those who don't know, but I'm sure everyone knows, UpGrad is one of the fastest growing EdTech company in Asia, and you also have, global ambitions and very big ambitions. But before we talk about your business, I would like to ask you one personal question. Um, how did you end up in that position? Is there a defining someone or defining moment in your life that inspired you to lead and create an edtech business?
Yeah, no, interesting question, Benjamin. But for me, as I said earlier, no other option but to do education because that was the only thing I did. I started my career in education by accident. I fell in love with the sector, and having done both as an advisory role as well as a private equity investing role, I just came to love the sector a lot. But my defining moment, everybody has a story, but that it happens in hindsight. I mean, it's not at that moment in time that you realize the importance of that particular event. And for me, that event, Benjamin was visiting a college in North India, and when you enter the college, there was the entire building was empty, and I was going there to see whether there's an asset that I can acquire at that point in time. And when you climbed up the stairs, you got to the second floor of the building or the first floor of the building, and in a classroom there were only four students studying. When I entered the building, I asked the guard what's happening inside. He doesn't. He said, "Look, I don't know what's happening inside because sometimes people come in, sometimes people don't." And on the first floor, the four kids were studying in a classroom, and I asked them, "What are you guys doing here?" They said, "Look, we have to come here because attendance is mandatory. I don't get faculty members. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. But I do need to come to school." And I also laughed out aloud in my head, thinking, okay, look, I mean, this is what the education that these guys are getting. And that's what it dawned on me, Benjamin, that look, I'm a product of an extremely subsidized education system in this country from India. I have seen the entire world and seen education system across the globe, scale, large scale assets, companies that have built and taken it to scale. And I did not have the authority to laugh at the situation, but I had to do something about the situation. And that was a penny dropping moment for me to launch something, build something of my own, rather than sit and critique the system that is out there right now.
Yeah. No, I get it, and that gives you that's where entrepreneurial drive is coming sometimes from those moments. So that's why I'm asking the question. I mean, I read that UpGrad's mission is to power career success for every member of the global workforce as a trusted lifelong partner. So what does that mean exactly? And I guess behind this question is how do you make the digital experience better than the physical one in higher education? And somehow how do you overcome your customer fears? Some of them, most of them may think, well, online is a cheaper, lower quality than a physical or experiential version. And so I just wanted to get your perspective on this.
So I'll do a quick stab at that. I think each and every word, Benjamin, was very thought through. So when we use Power Career Success, we knew that whatever that we do, we will offer programs that lead to some kind of career outcomes. We will not perhaps build how to learn piano. We may not build a program how to do well in gardening unless that leads to a career outcome. So we want to be focused on career outcome field. Our TG is also very clearly defined as knowledge workers. We don't want to go beyond that. I mean, we are not looking at going to blue collar skills or vocational skills, because we believe that's the segment we want to operate in. There's about a billion plus knowledge workforce. So there's enough large place out there. And the next two words for us was trusted, because in education, if you don't build a trusted brand, you cannot build a long term play out there. And the final one for us was lifelong learning partner. And that's the play where, to your second part of the question, that when we're defining the statement, we did not want to be a transactional provider wherein you pay me $100 and I will pay you a service. I believe that education has to be in today's context, specifically today, when once you graduate out of college, your skills become redundant within 5 to 7 years. There is a need for you to go back to college multiple times. And in today's context, lifelong learning is becoming as ubiquitous as, let's say, a healthcare service or an insurance service or a telecom services. So my long term vision is to have education in every professional's budgeting exercise at the start of the year. So when you're writing that I will spend this much on vacation, this much on buying, I mean, my whole healthcare needs, this much for traveling, etc. I need a line item on education for every individuals out there, and that's my sort of broader vision to build this out. And therefore, the customer experience is designed in a manner that while we go through the journey, we focus on outcome for the learner. Once the learner's journey is completed, we shift the focus on building a very strong alumni cell. And that alumni cell is what allows us to have a very, very strong connect with our learners, such that learners come back again and again. And that's where, Benjamin, 40 to 45% of our revenue come from repeats and referral. And it's only happening because we're focusing on providing the right sort of outcome for our learners.
And a question that I don't ask very often, but education is, I mean, brands are important in education, and you mentioned that, and that's true pretty much everywhere in the world, but it's also very true in India. And so, how do you create a brand in education in India that is trusted? Because you're a disruptor in a way. Can you explain to us how you do this or how you think about it?
Brand is a very big word. I don't think we are anywhere close to building a brand. I mean, Nike is a brand, Apple is a brand. I mean, these brands, even if there's nobody from Nike or Apple around us, we can still talk about these brands as to what it means. I believe brand is something that people talk about when nobody is around them. So what they talk about, that word UpGrad, I think there's a long way for us to go. We are nowhere close. We are right now in the just in the zone of creating awareness. There are a lot many more people know of us. For us, brand in reality, Benjamin, is just outcomes. If I can deliver outcomes to my learner, my brand will be synonymous to outcomes, and that's the entire focus that we do. To achieve that, there is an awareness building process where we look at various medium, television. We are now a title sponsor for Shark Tank in India. We partner with various sort of publications to promote our awareness. But for us, brand is purely and solely about career success of our learners. If we achieve that, brand automatically gets built in.
And do you agree that outcome or efficacy is the one thing in online higher education that should be discussed more?
Absolutely. I think there are three. I mean, when I looked at education, and again, you and I have been in education for quite some time, we have seen the entire wave happening. I break down, Benjamin, from my side, the entire education ecosystem in or EdTech wave in three different phases. The first phase for me was about just access. If you want Harvard, Wharton, MIT, Ivy League schools, you can get access to content. The second phase went on to engagement and completion, that if you're joining it, please complete it. I think we are right now in a third interesting phase where we are looking at focusing on outcomes. So I genuinely believe and I strongly believe that outcomes will be discussed a lot more, and outcomes will decide good companies versus not so good, and that's where most founders should be focusing on today right now.
Yeah, I fully agree with you on this. I mean, what are you the most excited about right now, with UpGrad? I mean, what's the 10-year growth trajectory? How will you change learning? Is it global domination? Is it, tell me.
What I can at least tell you that we have a path cut out for the next 2 to 3 years, at least from a strategy perspective, and things will evolve. About 5 6 years back, when we started UpGrad, Benjamin, we did not even know where we will be today. So when we started, we were very focused on working professionals. Now we are more lifelong learning provider. So we start from the age of 18 till the age of 50 or 60, and that's the spectrum that we work on. Our strategy as we speak today is going to be dominate India. That's our home market. That's where we started. So we want to be 3 to 4 times larger than our next biggest competitor and own the market of India completely. Our sort of second strategy and second leg of strategy is going to be emerging markets, because we believe that there are very similar ways in which education gets delivered. So establishing stronger presence in emerging markets for us to be present in. And then we will look at global domination with US, Latin America coming in. But of course, when we started our journey, somebody asked, I mean, my co-founder Ronnie asked me this question: why do you want to do and why do you want to build UpGrad? My answer was, I want to build world's largest EdTech higher education company, and that's the path that we are taking in. My view, Benjamin, is in the next 4 to 5 years, in globally we will have maybe 5 to 6, 50 to 60 billion dollar education companies. Given what's happening in China, it is going to difficult. It is going to be difficult for companies to emerge from there. But between developed markets of US and emerging markets of India, I do believe that 4, 5, 6 companies will emerge of that value, and we definitely want UpGrad to be one of those companies which have built at scale with global domination and perhaps touted as one of the most valuable companies out there in the ecosystem.
Yeah, very clear vision and roadmap, and we should do another interview in 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
uh, I'm guessing you're a lifelong learner, right?
I am, yeah.
So what do you learn right now?
I mean, I'm right now learning how to manage people really well.
Yeah.
No, I think obviously various things that you do end up keep focusing on. I think my last wave, last 1 month was about customer centricity and learning about how to provide the right sort of services to our learners. And I think lifelong learning is not just about learning; it's just the mindset. If I can put in a very different manner, because we do learn a lot, but sometimes we have to unlearn a lot and then relearn something. So I think I'm right now in a phase of figuring out how to connect dots amongst various team members, stitch a common theme together, and then build a very, very solid team around me that can enable me to scale this up. And as part of the process, not leave customer centricity absolutely from what we are doing right now.
Okay, very good. We're going to get now into the next phase of the interview, which is the rapid fire questions. So you just have to answer by A or B, okay?
Okay.
So degree or skills?
Skills.
Uh, Indian tech or US tech?
Indian tech.
State school or private school?
State school.
Profit or impact?
Impact.
Learners or shareholders?
Learners.
Teacher or technology?
Teachers.
And as an entrepreneur, what do you think is the most important thing to succeed? Grit or grades?
Grit.
Very good, thank you. And now, finally, last question for you. If you were to nominate someone to be part of EdTech Stories, and if you can tell us why, someone you know, someone you look up to, someone you think is doing, something disruptive, if you had a name for us, that would be great, and we'll invite him to our next session.
Sure. I mean, if I have to think of it, uh, closer to the geography, definitely Baiju Ravindran from Baiju's. I mean, hats off to what he has built so far. He has taken it to scale. He has built a very large company coming out of India. So there's definitely a lot that many entrepreneurs can learn from his experience. And it's not just for India, but he's building it for the world. So I'm assuming that's definitely one name that I would like to nominate for you guys to talk to.
Okay, very good. Well, Mayank, thank you very much. This was Mayank Kumar for EdTech Founder Stories. Thank you very much, Mayank. See you soon.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Benjamin.